Ketiantisak, skenaganak, kitamiskat na o kaginawa minsan isigag. Sabihin ng taman, ewag nitagog kaya sa spin, kati mga chito ako misise, naspas mininitin, igas kita tawag nitagog, tawag nituag, naspas mininitin, kitamiskat na o. Tansay, good morning. My relatives, it is a very exciting time for all of us to be able to convene in this manner. It has been such a long time since we've seen each other face to face and without masks. It's still recommended, however, to wear masks, but it's nice to see smiling faces once again. Now, I feel very good to see all of you. You look very beautiful. It's nice to see all of your faces, and I want to welcome all of you to our Special Chiefs Assembly on Child Welfare. And I want to welcome, of course, our chiefs, the chiefs that represent our organization. And we try our best to support the chiefs that make up the Manitoba Kiwitnyo, Gumaganak, and the proxies that are here, filling in for their chief. It's good to see you. And I want to thank the drummers for opening and bringing us in a very good way. Beautiful DNA drums. Thank you so much. And I also want to acknowledge our elder for opening with an invocation in prayer. She spoke, for those of you that do not understand, she spoke in Dene and Cree at the same time. So this is a beautiful thing that our languages have been preserved. And one woman to be able to speak both those languages, it's really a blessing to see. And also I want to welcome our technical staff that are here, always doing a good job to set up and make this assembly possible. And I want to thank our MKO staff and also our political team that help us to support the chiefs in the work that they do. So I'm thankful for that. And also want to acknowledge Shirley Allery, who is our Child Welfare Secretariat. She's responsible for bringing this all together for us, and it's a very important gathering. So I just want to say thank you. And I also would be remiss if I did not welcome my colleague and my good friend, Grand Chief Jerry Daniels from the Southern Chiefs Organization. Can you please give him a hand as he's sitting here? A very gifted and brilliant young man, a very young man, and I'm thankful to be working with him, and we work very well together, because I believe that his mandate and mandate are the same. We serve our chiefs, and that we follow the direction of our chiefs by resolutions by the chiefs in assembly, and of course the motions in our executive. So that is what we do as Grand Chiefs. They take direction from our chiefs. So for the next 3 days, we will be talking about very important issues that pertain to our children. And the theme that they have chosen is empowering our children's footprints.
Thank you.
And it's all about them, my relatives. It's all about them. What kind of future will they have? What kind of path are we going to pave for them? So that's why I always say it's all about our children. It's not so much about us. It's not about our organizations. It's not about our own agenda. It's not about the fiscal parts of it. It's not about the political parts of it. It's about our children. And we must never forget that. I always say that working with children is a sacred responsibility. And we must treat it as such. Because children are defenseless. Children can be helpless. And we've seen that through the residential school system. They were helpless when they were being physically beaten and abused. At 6 years of age to 16 years of age, they had no one to speak for them. The 60s scoop, they were defenseless. Nobody to speak for them. The day school and the child welfare system, they were helpless. But that is why we are here as MKO. We still experience a lot of the colonial experience. There's still legislation and policy designed to harm our children through the CFS systems all across this nation. But on August 13, 1982 was a very important day for MKO. 40 years ago, our chiefs, the MKO leadership, said enough is enough. No more will we allow our children to go through systems like this. No longer will we allow our children to be abused and taken away from their language, their culture, their traditions, and their territory. And 40 years later, we're seeing transformation. We're seeing changes on what should have happened so many years ago. First Nations now have the opportunity to take back their children from governments, from legislation, from policy, and from further harm and abuse. That day is upon us, my relatives. We are taking back our children. We're taking back our jurisdiction because they belong to us, not the systems, not to federal policy, not to provincial policy. They belong with us. So the day is coming, my brother and my sister, when our children will no longer be taken away from First Nations and given to different families that do not know our culture or language. The day is coming when we will no longer allow our children to be taken by the system of provincial legislation, because those days are over. Our people are rising up and we're saying, no more, no more, no more. And it begins right here, today. And this is an important gathering. And what we do is very important. How we act, how we administer our affairs is very important, because those decisions ultimately affect the children. And in our societies, in the way, in our history, in our societies, the number one duty of a warrior is to protect your land, to protect your women, and to protect the children. That was the duty of a warrior. And today we take our role as warriors. We're going to stop the governments. We're going to stop the legislation. We're going to stop the harm that's happening to our people, because enough is enough. Today's a new day. We move on today with a greater strength and power as First Nation people. We're taking our children back. And in 1991, the Aboriginal Justice Inquiry clearly identified the need for child welfare systems to be restructured, to be transformed, because those structures are racist. They are criminal. They are immoral. And we will change them. we will change them. Today's the day. So the April Just Inquire Childcare Initiative has been changing and transforming the landscape of child welfare.